Yeah, I started recording, guys. So you all are on mute now, but at any moment if you want to speak with me, you can just click on that raise hand and then you can speak with me. Okay, so the moment you click that raise hand, I will understand that so and so student wants to speak with me. Then I will stop whatever I might be explaining, then I will clarify your doubt, and then we'll proceed to next level. That will be the way. The first thing, today's agenda is introduction part. One by one I will not go, but as a whole I will introduce myself as well as I will get introduction from your side. Second is timing and duration. Third is some topic. Those who have attended before, you can also stay in this class, because this class is, not just demo, it is day one topic, we can say, right? So introduction to C# will be the topic. Few things you might have already attended before, but not all. So those who have attended before, those people also has to stay in this class. Those who have not attended also, you have to stay in this class. Some topic we will say C# introduction. Okay, some practical topics. Some theory also may come. Some theory as well as practical demo we will see. Since introduction class, first class, so obviously few theory will come and how to implement them in practical using Visual Studio. Then we will discuss about, in fact, before continuing the topic, we will discuss about the course content. We have discussed it before, but I will share it to all of you. Those who have already met me before, you must have discussed with me about course content, and I shared already that PDF to you. So, but summary, quick summary, we will discuss today as well. So coming to introduction part. First I will introduce myself. Last around 18 plus years I'm into IT industry. Initial 1 to 2 years I was into Java with Oracle, but out of total 19 years experience, around 17 plus around 18 years I'm into .NET. So .NET came in 2002, guys. Okay, 2002. Currently it is .NET Core, but that time it came with .NET Framework, which was supporting to only Windows. But now .NET is supporting to all operating system, you know very well, right? So I started my career 2001. So 2001 to around 2002, half of 2002, I was with Java and Oracle technologies. But end of 2002, around 2003, when I saw the features, multiple support of the programming languages and rich architecture, then I switched my career to Microsoft technologies. So around last 18 years, I'm with this technology. Currently, I'm working as a solution architect, and I have some 4 to 5 teams. In fact, not only me, whoever connected with Prajim Technologies, all of us, we are, industry people. We are working in industry. This is just early morning. We used to, give some classes. It is always better to learn from somebody who is industry professional, because IT industry is changing if you compare 6 months or 1 year, things are going on getting changed. So better always to learn from the industry professional, because we guys are strongly acquainted with whatever changes happening in industry. That is good thing. you will get a guide who is strongly involved with the industry. My responsibility in industry in my company is architectural developments, database design, then high-end developments. I don't know how much you are aware about software development lifecycle. When software development lifecycle starts in application development, always the architecture of the application starts. Requirement you have to gather from the customer, and based on the requirement you have to prepare your architecture of the application. So my responsibility come to the very first thing, that means preparing the architecture of the application. Once architecture is prepared, then few more high-end development we guys, senior guys used to do, then the developers team comes into picture, right? So architectural design, database design, modularization, and few more high-end development. So those things will go around first 15 to 20 days, or sometimes if it is a very big project, it may go up to 1 month also. So that will be developed first. After that only developers will start working on the coding part. So high-end coding and architectural design, those things will be done by always architects. They are called solution architect, or if it is little junior level, that is called associate architect in an industry, right? So my position is currently solution architect. So different teams I'm handling. One is mobile application team, one is web application team, one is Windows application team, one is game development. So various technologies and applications combined together, we have various teams. And when we say architecting the application, regardless of technology, regardless of the language, regardless of you are developing whether a game or a small web application, architect will not be different for different areas. So my responsibility is towards that. This is about my introduction. So quickly, to get all your introduction in the same line, because one by one if I will go, it will be too delay. So what I'm planning is to make you all compatible with what this course is offering. I will tell you something. Guys, this course is basically for those who are seeking their career in .NET full stack development. Now you will ask me, what is this .NET full stack? So full stack, when you say, it is nothing but anything comes for .NET. That means previously if you go back 10 years or 5 years, 7 years, that time things was treated differently in industry. There will be separate professional for only client-side development. There will be separate professional for only database. There will be separate professional for only coding of .NET. Designing of .NET, somebody else will be there. So like that, things was being divided into various people. Why? Because industry was very rich, and it's not that now it is not rich, but now it become little competitive. Multitasking they are looking for, right? So they need full stack developers. Full stack developer means chance is there you will be working in server side coding, but you should not be zero in client side or database connectivity, whatever related to .NET, you should not be zero in that. But previously it was working. 10 years back, if you see, you are zero in HTML, you are zero in JavaScript, you are zero in jQuery, but still if you are hero in C#, you are welcome. But now things has been little changed. So this course is going to offer you not only just .NET, but also related to .NET, whatever extra things required. So that PDF I will share to you. I will just show you, and already it is there in the Google Drive. Whoever shared me Gmail ID in the chat window just now, I requested all of you, so you will definitely get it. A couple of students join little later. For you guys, just go to chat window and share your WhatsApp number and Gmail ID. Other people have already shared, I think. So this is the course content, guys. I will share this PDF through Google Drive, but for a quick summary revision, so that we can focus on class today more, I will tell you. In this course content, basically we start from C#, then we go to database, SQL Server, then we have connectivity between C# and database. We have two ways of connectivity. One is called entity framework, one is called edu.net. Both are demanded in market, so we will teach you both. And there is something called web application development. In web application development, we have something called client side, we have something called server side. So both we will be covering, client side as well as server side. Then we have some security protocols, authentication, authorization, filtration. So those things will also be covered. Some design patterns you can see here: singleton design pattern, repository pattern, abstract pattern. So abstract factory pattern, dependency injection. So I'll share this. You can go through. Just quickly we will have a look on this. Various architecture is required, as I said, for development of application. That we'll see. Service oriented architecture, that is also called API. Okay, web API, that will be covered. WCF services is for SOAP, and HTTP protocol is web API. Both HTTP as well as SOAP will be covered. I know this will be all, speaking in detail is something like speaking in French in front of you, because I assume that all of you are starting from the beginning, but some of the student might be understanding this. But okay, so how to apply that we'll see, but what to learn in this, we will have a quick look at it. Test driven development, there is something called unit test. Okay, in industry, when you develop something, you have to test it, unit test. That means before deploying in the server, you have to test it. That will be tested using test driven development. There are some automation script you have to write, and that will be beneficial for any future enhancement. Imagine January you gave one release, again August you are giving one more release of the application. So why you will put same efforts again for testing whole application? If you have automation script using TDD, you have libraries called MS Test and Mock Test, then it will be easier. Every new deployment, you can just run that script and it will be automatically test your application. That is called unit test using automation. Actual test team will be different, testing team. I'm not talking about testing team work, I'm talking about developers work. So every developer also has to test the application before deployment. After deployment into test server, then only your testing team will come and start working on that, right? But before deploying into test server, into your own company server, you have to have some testing called unit testing. That is called TDD. So these are all required in addition to .NET, right? I said .NET is not enough. Additional to .NET, what else required in full stack development? Those are also being covered. So test driven development, then software. Okay, let me tell you, we have a project in this course, guys. All advanced design patterns, architectures, deployment, test driven development, service oriented architecture, something right after this. Okay, can you see? Using JavaScript, jQuery I have written. Right after that, we will start one project. So all real-time technologies we will be implementing directly in a real-time project, so that not only just hello world example things we will be learning, but we will be learning in a real-time implementation manner. Otherwise, if you see our free YouTube channel also, we have given many fundamental videos free of cost. People used to go through that, and sometimes they get selected in interview also. But if somebody is joining in this course, that means you should know the real-time implementation. So if you are putting real efforts as per my guidance, easily a 4 to 5 years experience person, how he is performing in industry, you should be able to, because all these advanced design patterns and advanced architecture you will be directly implementing in project. Little bit efforts definitely required. Without efforts, nothing can be possible. That you know also. You have to just follow my guidance. Sometimes, some book I will suggest to purchase. Sometimes some notes I will share. So little bit extra effort you have to put at home, right? 1 minute. Some people are waiting in the waiting room. A few student has raised the hand. I will get back to you, guys. So you can see here something called source control. When you say source control, it is coding repository. For example, suppose you are also working in that project. I am also working in that project. Everybody is working in that project, all of us. And our coding should be kept in a place where we can merge our coding and we can deploy it. Page number 1 you developed, page number 2 I am developing, but after all both the pages are into same application. So we have something called source control for that. You might have heard about Team Foundation server, GitHub repository. So those things also we will see how to project manage the coding in the project using GitHub repository. This is not .NET, but it is required for every technology if you are working in a team. Okay. So nothing coding, but how to write coding and keep in the repository, so that your coding I can use, my coding he can use, all of our coding at the end of the day will be merged into one application. Then comes deployment. Deployment is of two types. One is on your on-premises server, means your company itself is having one server, you have to deploy there. Another is Microsoft Cloud. It is called as Azure Cloud, right? Amazon Cloud named as AWS, Microsoft Cloud is named as Azure. So in Azure, how you can deploy the application, that I will show you. Project I have listed at the last, you can see, okay, extremely below. But actually that project will start from this point, right after, covering client-side stuff called JavaScript, jQuery, etc. So once ASP.NET web form introduction will be given. In this web form we will not do the project. This is our 2 to 3 classes will teach you how to work with web form, because web form is completely gone from market. So this is no more prospect technology for future, but just for sake of migration of the project. Sometimes some company, what they do, they might be having a project in ASP.NET web form, right? They will tell you, hey, I need MVC, I need .NET Core with MVC, but some of the project is already available in our company in web form, ASP.NET web form. You have to work on those to migrate to the new technology called .NET Core MVC. So that time you should not feel it blind, like, hey, I have never worked with web form, I cannot work in migration project, I can only work in new project. Not to say that, we will give some introduction about web form. So this is one introduction on web form, but complete detailed analysis and implementation we'll see it in MVC Core, .NET Core version of the MVC. So this is about the summary of this whole course. Now let me see whoever has raised the hand. I will clarify your doubts if any. I can see some name, Ramana Reddy. So can you please unmute and speak? Web API is one of the service-oriented architecture. Like this, you have SOAP services, you have WCF services, you have REST services. So all services is called service-oriented architecture. So Web API is also part of that. Around 6 to 7 classes. Okay, you can talk with me separately. I will share my number. In fact, it is there. If you see at the top of this document, I have written my number, guys. So I have already shared this PDF in Google Drive. So whoever shared the WhatsApp number and Gmail ID just now, additionally I will share that Google Drive to all of you. right? Some people already have been shared who have met me before. So take this downloaded and go through it. If you have any more question also, you can ask me by calling me, right? So this is my number I have written here. This is, I'm using WhatsApp on this number as well. Anybody else? Any other question, guys? You can again click that symbol so that that raise hand button will go. Otherwise it will confuse me. So just go there and click it again. Anybody else, guys, have any question on top of course content? No question? Okay, so let's go to timing and duration quickly, and then we'll cover some topic today. Timing will be 7:30 to it will be 7:40 to 8:40 a.m. Okay, usually it is 7:30, but before you guys, one more group is there. Okay, one more batch is there. So sometimes it will be late, 5 minutes late. If you are teaching a topic, you have to, make a closure and join the other batch. So I used to have 10 minutes gap between first batch and second batch. So regular timing will be 7:40 to 8:40, and 5 days per week. Initially we'll start with Monday to Friday. Later on, when project will be started, chances there I may include Sunday. Okay, because Sunday is the best day for continuously sitting 2-3 hours and discussing on the project side. But as long as you are not starting the project, it will be 5 days per week, Monday to Friday. Okay. Somebody is speaking something, but I'm not able to hear your voice. Can you please little loud? Yeah, who is this? Yeah, Monday to Friday, regular all 5 days class, and timing will be 7:40 to 8:40. I hardly hear your voice. You got my number, you can call me, whoever is speaking. Okay, duration will be 4 months, guys. Little bit check all of you your mic, so that both way interaction will be better. It should not be like you are speaking and I am not able to hear, or I am speaking, you are not able to hear. Those kind of problems, in on day 1 or day 2, you try to fix. If you have any issue with the mic, or some, driver has to be installed, all those things better to fix. So since student are more, so I didn't interact individual, but yeah, I always welcome whenever you have your own question individually, you should unmute and speak with me. So nothing like finish the class and end of the class one time discuss about the doubts, nothing like that. Whenever you have the doubt, raise the hand, clarify the doubt, and proceed further. That is my way. So you should also have ready with your mic, I mean to say. Okay, so check your mic. If by chance some issue, please fix it. So course content, as I said, that PDF will be shared, and timing and duration we discussed. Every day 1 hour, guys. Okay, 1 hour into 5 days, so 5 hours as of now. When project will be started, I will see it may be 6 hours or 7 hours depending upon the requirement. I may add Sunday also along with this 5 days. What else? So should we go to the topic? Whatever the introduction topic today we have. Anybody has anything to discuss with me before going to the topic, guys? I don't see any raise hand though. Yeah, I believe most of people have already met me before, so it's obvious that you people already discussed with me many things. But those who are newcomer today, first time meeting me, for them, if you have any question, please don't feel any hesitation to talk with me, unmute yourself and speak with me if you have anything to talk, or you can call me also after the class. Yeah, some other student I think saying something. Avinash. Yeah, you are audible. Yeah. .NET Core and MVC in .NET Core. That is called MVC Core. Yeah. That is not called ADO. That is called ADO.NET. Okay. ADO.NET and Entity Framework. Both will cover. But more time we will spend on Entity Framework because ADO.NET is bit old technology. Right? So current technology going on in market is Entity Framework. So more time we will be spending in Entity Framework. Anybody else? Anything? All right. So introduction to C#. That means very first topic in our course is C#. Any programming language you learn, guys, practically, very first thing always you learn is input, processing and output, isn't it? Always go for any programming language. Similarly in C# also we'll see first focusively input way, processing way and output. Along with this, few more things, something called memory management. So without memory, nothing is possible in computing, isn't it? So those who know fundamentals of computing, you must be knowing computing is nothing but input, processing, output, and all these things will be saved in memory also. When we say memory, it can be of various types, but since we are not learning fundamentals of computing, so no need to go in-depth story behind what types of memory, etc. When I say memory, you just take it like random access memory. We are not talking about hard disk, we are talking about random access memory, RAM. So how to manage all these things in C#? So to manage input and output, we have two commands. Let me tell you those commands. So input command is console.readline. Output command is console.writeline. So 4-5 commands first we'll focus about, then we'll implement them. Console.writeline, console.write, console.writeline, both are applicable. We will see what is the difference. Processing, when you say, it is nothing but some calculation or some equation or some expression or some condition, etc. Anything coding we are writing for do some process. Like for example, somebody says, hey, I am giving you radius, can you please give me area of the circle? You have to apply some equation, pi r square. That is called processing. After processing only you will get the output. So if you say like this also, it's fine. That means first you give input, then do the processing. Once processing is done, you will get the output, then you display it. Then comes memory. For memory, you have to use something called variables and data type. Variables and data types. I'm not talking about only C#. These processes, any language you go for, you will be definitely using. Only difference may be here you are using console.readline, console.writeline. Maybe in C language or C++ language or Java language, you may be using different command. Command may be different, but concept will be similar. So practically, we are going to implement this concept today by 2-3 commands additional. We will see how to make use of it, how to declare variables, what are various data types, why to use data types, etc. Right? So first let's understand about variables and data types. Just now I told one example saying that I am giving you radius. Can you please give me the area? I am giving you radius, maybe something like 6.7. Can you please give me the area? So area will be nothing but pi r square, right? Pi means 3.14. R square means radius square. 6.7 into 6.7. That is fine. But how to get it from user as input? User should enter it. How to calculate it using some equation? How to display the output on the screen using some console.writeLine. This is the first small program we will write to explain our input, processing, output, as well as storing the data in the memory. When we say storing the data, you may store input also, you may store output also. Now, I will take radius as a variable to store the data as input, and I will take another variable called area to store the data as output, obviously. So radius is input and area is output, as simple as that. So this is output and this is input. So how practically we can work on this? There are various data types. You will see, I have documented it. I will show you. Integer, decimal, float, double, character, boolean, many. So every class we have documented, and I will share those documents, notes through Google Drive. So let me show you for one example. So whatever now explaining, these things has been already documented, guys. Right from beginning, how to open Visual Studio, how to write a program, everything has been documented. So there some section is there called variables and data types. So that we are going to see in practical. Example, here I will say decimal, radius. It can be R also, it can be RAD also, it can be radius also. It depends upon whatever you want to take. But if you are taking radius fully, RADIUS, then in calculation also you have to make use of radius. So let me take R. Okay. And somebody says, I want to store 6.7, or maybe I want to ask user to enter. Then you have to put a semicolon here. Okay. Semicolon means nothing more after this. It is terminator. That means I already declared the variable. If I want to give the value, then after giving the value 6.7 or so, then I will put semicolon. But I didn't give any value now, I said semicolon. Meaning is, I want to ask user to enter it. So currently I am explaining in Notepad, right? But once you understood this concept, I will go to Visual Studio and implement in practical. Okay, R has gone. That means my memory part is gone. If you see decimal, how much memory it is taking, somewhere here I might have written in the variable and data type section that decimal is taking some 128 bit of memory. That means in random access memory, it will go and reserve 128 bit of memory. Bit, byte, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, these are all unit of memory, right? So this will reserve 128 bit of memory in random access memory. Data has not yet given, that's fine, but it will reserve that memory. It will say, hey, you are giving the data or not giving the data, I don't bother. I reserved the memory. Okay, diagrammatically if I will show, it is something like this. Imagine this is your random access memory. Inside that random access memory, it went and it reserved one small location of 128 bit and it named it as R, just like this. As of now, data is not entered, but it reserved the location inside the random access memory. So I will say this as random access memory and this as that variable called R for radius. Now input to be stored, that is fine, but output also has to be stored, right? So we will declare one more variable in decimal called area. So A for area, I can say A. Have a look. I can say comma A, or I can say another line decimal A. Both are fine. Decimal A. So decimal R comma A also fine, or in two different line also I can say A. That means one more memory it will reserve, just like this, inside random access memory, and it will say, hey, I reserved one more location whose name is A. If necessary, you can store output in this. We have not yet calculated. We have not yet taken data from user, but we reserved the memory location in the random access memory, right? These two lines is for variables and data type. So here R is variable, decimal is data type. Every data type takes some data or memory. Third step, this is step number 1, this is step number 2. Third step is you reserve the memory, no problem, but you have to get the input and get the output also by processing. So first is input, then only processing, then only output. So input means what? You have to ask user to enter the data. Okay, so here if you understood in Notepad, it will be better to understand in Visual Studio also. Simply I will copy paste this and it will work. So here I will go and write something called please enter radius. So console.writeLine, console.writeLine. I will say please enter radius. User will see this sentence on the screen because this is for displaying something on the screen. So it will display please enter the radius. Then user will take that radius and store in R. Usually it is supposed to be R equal to console.readLine. But here one extra thing I am going to tell you, important thing. Whenever you get any data from the user, okay, you are asking please enter this, please enter that, right? Real time example if I will give, sometimes you are opening one website, right, on your mobile or in your laptop. It is asking you please enter user ID and password, right? That is something related to this. So it is saying please enter your user ID, please enter your password. That is like input. After taking user ID and password, it is checking whether it is correct or not. That is called processing. But here we don't have anything called user ID password. We have input called radius and output called area. As simple as that. So I said please enter the radius and take the radius and store in the R. But here what extra thing I am going to tell you is, whenever it takes the data from you or any user, it takes in the format of alphanumeric, but because it doesn't know, right? You will type ABCD, or you type 1 2 3 4, or you will type your date of birth, or you type special character. It has no idea. So console.readLine is for everything. You can enter radius also, you can enter your name also, you can enter your date of birth also. That's why console.readLine has been written in such a way that it will take always in the string format, because string is a data type which can store any type of the data. ABCD 1 2 3 4, you know, dollar also you can type anything, any type of the data. That's why here we have something called typecasting. Typecasting means, here let me write that whatever I am explaining. Typecasting. Typecasting means convert the data type from one data type to another. So I have taken it as like a string, but I have to convert it to decimal because left side I have decimal variable. So here you have to write convert dot to decimal. That means you are saying, no doubt user will type the data, but my compiler, my programming environment, it will take like a string data. So that string data cannot be stored in a decimal variable because my R is decimal. So please convert to decimal. After that you store it into the R. Imagine you type 20. Then what it will do, you know, it will say 20.00 because convert to decimal. So it will store that decimal format data in the R. This is a new thing on top of your input and output. Once your input is done, then you have to prepare your processing. Processing is what here? Area, calculating area. So I will say area equal to, because my A is area here, so I will say A equal to pi, that means 3.14 multiplication by radius R, again multiplication by R. In programming, guys, star indicates for multiplication. Plus and minus is plus and minus, but multiplication is star, division is slash. If you want to divide, then like this you have to divide. So I wrote star and star, that means R into R, means R square, radius square. Okay, for decimal, you have a notation called M. After couple of classes, I will tell you what is this M. Memory management. M for memory management. So how it is managing the memory internally, that I will tell you, but it will be too early to discuss more about this M. As of now, just give one notation called M. Wherever decimal is there, you just give a notation called M. I will tell you later on what is M, what is F, what is D. So M, F and D, three notations are there. We will discuss about that little later. So M for decimal, D for double, and F for float. So M, because 3.14 is a decimal value. So this is called processing, guys. Right side, whatever I am writing, this is for your understanding. This is not programming. Right side, whatever I am writing, that is for your understanding. So can I say this is a processing? My input is done. My processing is done. Now output is to be displayed on the screen. So I have to display the output that, hey, my area is so and so. Some sound is coming, guys. Please mute it. If you want to speak, then you unmute. Alright, so console.writeLine. Okay, console.writeLine means I want to display some output. I will say area I want to display. So A for area. So simply say A. Alright, simply say A because you want to display the area. This is declaration of the data, that means memory part. This is input, that means input part. So if you remember this diagram, at the top I have written some, you know, notation, right? Input, processing and output. Any complicated to complicated operation in any of the programming language, they follow this process always. So input, processing, output. That means if I will copy paste simply these 4-5 lines, easily it will give me what we are expecting for. It will ask, please enter the radius, and it will say, hey, your radius is this, area is this. So let me copy paste this in a program. Okay, so few people, you are meeting me first time, so let me tell you, you have to install Visual Studio, guys, in order to, you know, work with the .NET. So Visual Studio has to be installed. So let me go to Visual Studio. Visual Studio 2019 Community Edition you have to install. Okay, so go to Visual Studio. If by chance anybody has a problem how to install, you can unmute and take my help. So I assume all of you must be knowing how to install Visual Studio. You just go to Google Drive, Google search install Visual Studio or download Visual Studio. It will give you the link and you can download and install. But yeah, if you are facing issue, then you can take my help separately also. So create new project. Once you open Visual Studio, right side extremely bottom, can you see create new project? Here you will get 3 drop down list extremely at the top. This is one, this is one, and this is one. Most of you must be knowing, but some of you are very much fresher, never used Visual Studio. For their sake, it is my duty to tell you from the scratch. So C# I selected from the language because I am writing C# now. Currently my laptop is having Windows operating system, so I selected Windows. I have various application development, mobile application, game development, web application, console application, Windows application, service I can develop, many things I have, but this time I am going to console application. Console application means I want to activate all more than 97,000 libraries available in Visual Studio. I don't want to specifically develop one mobile application or web application or Windows application like that. Because while learning C#, we don't need to restrict ourselves only C# for mobile or only C# for web or only C# for Windows. Simply C#. That means everything you should know about C# so that in future, whichever application you want to develop, you can develop it. So I selected console application for that purpose. Now I select .NET Core here. You can see .NET Framework as well as .NET Core. .NET Framework means only for Windows support, but .NET Core means all operating system. So this is advanced than this, so I will select .NET Core. Then click on Next. It will ask you what is the name of your project. I will name it as something like Introduction to C#. Okay, intro_C#. And I selected location as desktop. That means I want to save this project in desktop with the name of intro_C#. Click on create. Yeah, while it is opening, Raghav, you have some question? I prefer 2019. Reason is 2022 is beta version. Officially, they have not made it stable. So many bugs you may find. Why they have given it is there are many Microsoft Gold partners, right? So what they do is they will start using this 2022, and periodically they will go on informing to Microsoft that here this is the bug, there that is the bug, etc. Then in another 6 months or so they will give a stable version with some patch release. So once it will be stable version, then we can use it. But currently, if you ask me what is the stable version from Microsoft side, it is 2019. Okay, so you will not get any issue in 2019. So better to install. I will do. Yeah, I will do. All right. So we just created a project, guys. You can see in front of you one, small template project it has created. At the top of the screen, some using system is written. Below that, some namespace. Below that, some class, static something. Many things, you can see here. Let's have a quick understanding on this. Then what we'll do is our program, whatever just now we typed as a beginning level, that will copy paste there. But quick understanding is required. Why this using? If I will not do that, what will happen? All these things. To understand it better, what I will do, I will delete once here. See what happens. When I delete that using, can you see line number 9? Below console, it is showing some red color underline. So always red color underline means compiler issue. Compiler issue means compiler itself is saying, hey, I don't understand this word. What is this? Now tell me, when I write this, it is saying I understood it. When I am removing this, it is saying I don't understand this. That means what you understood from this concept? Basically, concept is it serves like a dictionary. Okay, using system is serving like a dictionary, and it is just like a dictionary word. Imagine you are learning something language called French. You already know English. You want to learn something called French. What you do is basically you purchase a dictionary, right? English to French, something like that. If that dictionary is not with you, you are saying I am helpless. I don't understand this word. Yeah, something like that. Your Visual Studio also not detecting this particular word called console when I am deleting this. That means not only this, in future when we will use more and more variables, data type, etc., those things also will not be understood, because those are all defined in something called library. So system is a library where all those commands what we are going to use in future, they have been defined. In fact, there are 97,000 libraries in Visual Studio. But this is parent library of all libraries. All other libraries are inherited from system library. So it's interview question. You can be asked, almost 97,000 libraries are there. What is the parent library of all? It is system library. So the moment I deleted this parent library, it is saying that, hey, console is directly available in the parent library called system. How can you detect it if you delete this? Just to make it more understandable, you press F12 here. Just take to the mouse to the console and press F12. You can see Microsoft has written something called system namespace. Inside that only it has written some console class, and all the commands it has kept inside this. No need to go through now because you have no much idea, but just for understanding, you assume that, okay, there is something called library which has been developed by Microsoft. Unless we use the library, we can use those commands which is available in that library. So if you see that, there must be a class called console class. But again, question mark, what is class? What is namespace? Little quick understanding will do now, but detailed understanding will do periodically when we will be getting little more idea about the programming. Namespace is nothing but a boundary of the program. Boundary of the program means you might be having some coding here, some coding here. You know, based on requirement, you might be having various classes. Each class will be representing some coding here, some coding here. Now all the codings which is available inside some group called class, that has to be kept inside a namespace. So namespace is just like boundary of your building, and each class is just like 2-3 building. Like you have 2-3 building and one boundary. That means this is first building, this is second building, and this is just like boundary. You can see line number 4 is closed in line number 17. Okay, line number 4 open bracket is closing in line number 17. That means if I will minimize this, everything will come inside that. That means introduction _ C#, it became like a boundary. When I entered into that boundary, I saw various classes inside it. Each class will represent for some coding. This time we are happy with one small coding called area of the circle, so I don't need to create another class. Now come to the programming area. Main function is the entry point always to the program. Okay, MAIN. We cannot say it ABCD because main is a keyword here. Compiler means translator of the program, because these are all English, right? CONSOLE, English only. WRITELINE, English only. But do you think computer understands English? No. Computer understands binary, right? So who will translate this English like code to binary? There is something called compiler. Roslyn compiler, ROSELYN, Roslyn compiler. There are 2 compilers available in .NET. One is called Roslyn compiler, one is called JIT compiler. So first level, Roslyn compiler takes this code and translate it into intermediate language. That is separate story. We will see something sometime later. So compiler is nothing but the translator of our English like coding into binary code. That's why when I was deleting this using system, compiler was saying, hey, what is this console? I don't understand, because your library is not available, right? So console.writeLine indicates console class is having one writeLine function. You pass this hello world so that it will display hello world on the screen. If I will write here, enter your radius, enter the radius, no problem, it will display enter the radius on the screen. What is there? So this is something called programming body. When compiler will enter into the program, first it will come in this line number 8 and it will exit in line number 10. If I will have more lines, something like that, here I wrote something else, then it will enter in line number 8, exit in line number 15. That means it is entry point to the program, line number 8. Okay. Now inside this program, I have to write some coding. Coding already we have discussed in this notepad. So what I will do, I will go to that notepad and copy paste this coding over there. Make sense? So come here, and whatever we discussed about that coding, I will just copy paste it here. This is for your understanding, so I'm just deleting it. Actual coding is left side part, not the right side part. Okay. This space I'm giving, you can ignore the space also, just like this. If you want, you can ignore this space. Not required. If you give also, doesn't matter. So see these 4-5 lines. In any of the line, if you think there is some doubt, please get clarified. We will see by debugging mode, in first line what it is doing, in second line what it is doing, in third line what it is doing, so that we will more confident about the each and every step what compiler is going to compile or translate, right? So for that, what I will do, can you see extremely left side there is a gray color bar. Okay, extremely left side there is a gray color bar, that is called debugging bar. Debugging means line by line compilation. Imagine I am compiling all at a time. Compiling means you click this green color arrow mark, it will compile it. But what will happen, I will not be able to see this output. I will not be able to see what this line is doing, what this line is doing, what this line is doing. I will not be able to know. Have a look. Just I am clicking that green color button to run the program. See what happens. It will ask me enter the radius, no doubt about it. I entered something like 5.7. It took the radius from me. It calculated the area. It displayed the area, but I could not see it. Right? But I want to see that also. I want to see that. There are two ways. One is use console.read key at the last. Here. Console.read key. Now you run it and see what happens. Read key means read a key from user, then only proceed further. So I said this time 6.2 is my radius. Then I press enter. Have a look. It gave me area. When radius is 6.2, area is 120 point something. Can you see one cursor is blinking below? Why? Because I have written console.read key. So that cursor is because of that console.read key. That means it is waiting for me. If I will press any key, then that read key will take that key and then it will proceed further to the program. That means I got a chance to see my output. Na? So I just press enter or any key. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, any key you press. Now that will close. That is one of the way. But in this way, I saw the output, no doubt about it. But if I want to know what here I am doing, what here I am doing, what here I am doing, who knows? Chances there somebody forgot pi r square formula. He wrote 2 pi r. 2 multiplied by pi multiplied by r. Right? My customer is expecting area something else, but it is displaying area something else. Why so? Because my programmer forgot that area of circle is pi r square. He implemented 2 pi r. 2 pi r is perimeter of the circle, not the area of the circle. So my customer is complaining, hey, there is a bug here. It is not correct output. Bug means mistake. There is a mistake. It is not correct output. How to fix this bug? That is called debug. Fixing bug is debug. So I am going to tell you how to debug to fix the issue. So bug means mistake in output. Debug means the process of fixing such mistakes, right? So how to fix the mistake? That is called debugging. Let me do that. My customer is not happy with this. He wants perfect output. Okay, so 5-10 minutes we will late today, guys, because for introduction and all we spend some time. So every class 1 hour we have stuff. So 10-15 minutes if you'll get late, please manage it. Around another 2 to 3 minutes I'm going to leave you. I will put a breakpoint here. Can you see extremely left side there is a gray color bar, right? I put a breakpoint here in line number 8. You will ask me, sir, why line number 8? Why not line number 4 or so? Because our programming entry point is line number 8 here. Wherever main function is starting, that is the programming entry point. This is just container of the program, nothing else. But actual program starts from line number 8 here. So I put a breakpoint here. How do I put this breakpoint, guys? I took my mouse here and click here. Okay. So that red color button came in this gray color bar. That is called debugging point or breakpoint. That means I'm asking compiler, you come here, no issue. You translate and execute. But wait here, I will go step by step. I will go line by line by seeing where I did mistake. I don't know whether entry is mistake or calculation is mistake or output is mistake. I have no idea. I want to see what mistake is happening. Line by line I want to compile. So compilation means whole page at a time, but debugging means line by line compilation. So compile means translate and execute whole program at a time. But debug means debug means line by line compilation as per our instruction. I will tell, hey, go to next line. Go to next line. I want to see what you are doing. I want to see what you are doing. So every line will observe what it is doing, what compiler is doing. That is called debugging. So process is extremely left side gray color bar. You start a breakpoint, assuming that in that line compiler will wait for me. Then line by line I will go and see what is happening. In fact, if you are a good programmer and experienced programmer, you can put a breakpoint directly here. In fact, why? This 2 line is not doing anything, right? It is just reserving some memory. Coding wise, actual work start from line number 11. You can put a breakpoint here also, no problem. But if you have any confusion, see directly you put it in line number 8. That's it. Because it's the curly bracket start means programming starting. Now compile with a debug mode. Make sure in this drop down you have debug. Okay, you have debug here. After that you click this green color arrow mark or you press F5, function key F5. Both are same. So I'm clicking this green color arrow mark. Now what will happen? My compiler will come here and wait for me, saying that I'm waiting for you. You give me instruction, then only I will translate this line, go to next line, line number 12, line number 13, line number 14, like that I have to go. So for going to next line, what we have to do is, we have to press F10. Okay. So F10, go to, compile current line and jump to next line, right? F10 when you press, it will compile the current line wherever that yellow color background is there. That is called compiler position. So compile the current line and jump to next line. I will press F10, guys. I just press F10, function key F10. This is your output window. Can you see? First line it compiled, line number 11, and it displayed the output called please enter radius, and it jumped to next line. Check yourself, is there any mistake in this line? By chance your customer is complaining there is a spelling mistake here. Please spelling mistake. or enter is spelling mistake, then obviously we will come to know that acha, here the main conflict, this line. So I have to go and change there. But this time there is nothing as such. Then you press F10 again. Once you F10, then it will ask you, give me the input. I said okay, 7.5. Then press enter. That means line number 12 also completed. At the end of the line number 12, our expectation is my data, which is called 7.5, should be taken as input and stored in random access memory against R. Check it out whether it did it or not. Take the mouse to R and see whether my 7.5 has gone and stored in random access memory. That is also perfectly fine. It is showing me. That means I am sure in line number 12 I didn't do any mistake. Then I have to go line number 13, F10 again. Then I will see, is it overwritten or something mistake happened? No, R is still 7.5, but output is not yet displayed because we have not yet compiled line number 14. But yeah, I will check left side area is how much. It is saying, hey, your area is 47.1. It is a small equation. That's why quickly you can see it that okay, hey, 2 pi r I have done instead of pi r square. But imagine it is a quadratic equation, right? So much complicated equation. How can you come to know where small mistake you did? But here you saw output is unexpected. My customer is expecting something different and I'm getting something different here, 47.1. That means here in this line is the main issue. Then I will go line by line and check what I did, where I did. If it is a complicated equation, you have to cross check it and then correct it. Then you came to know that acha, this line I am doing the mistake. So I will stop the program and I will correct it to pi r square instead of 2 pi r, and then I will run it again. So if you already corrected it, then no need to put the breakpoint in line number 11 onwards, because you know that mistake was in this line, right? So put a breakpoint directly in this line. I don't need to check again line number 11, line number 12, because it is perfectly fine. So line number 13, I am going to debug again whether my output is as per my customer's expectation or not. So 7.5, F10, then I will take here, then I will match with my customer's output. Customer is expecting 176.6, but my output was 47.6 something. So now I saw, yes, this calculation at least correct. After that more lines are there, somewhere I did some other mistake, that is a different story, but at least line number 13 I corrected it. So this way you can compile line by line and track your issue and fix your issue. That's why it is called debugging. Whole program at a time compile means simply click here, no need to put any breakpoint. But line by line compilation, which is called debugging, means you have to go line by line just by putting the breakpoint, and shortcut for debugging is F10, function key F10. In fact, this is not the only process for debugging. We have more and more processes. In future I will tell you for any complicated logic how to debug it. But since it is a very small program today as an introduction, so it is a very small process also for debugging. Debugging because bug fixing, fix the bug. I will ask a small question. This fixing of the bug, we did it in compilation time or did it in execution time, guys? We did it in execution time, because in execution only we will came to know that here some mistake is there. So debugging, fixing the bug during execution time. But some issue are there, some errors are there which will happen during compilation time itself. Compilation time means during typing of the code itself. Just for example, imagine I forgot this semicolon. Chalo, in another line I will make mistake. Okay. In line number 11, I forgot this semicolon. The small red color underline is there. I didn't mark it also. Okay. I didn't mark it because it's not a very big line, so I didn't mark it, and I'm trying to run the application. See what happens. It will say, hey, there is some issue, compiler is not able to compile. First you fix that, then you compile and execute. This is called error, guys. Bug you already understood. Bug and error, there is some difference. So error versus bug. Error means while typing itself, compiler will show some red color underline. That is called error. Bug means typing it's fine. Output also it will show, but wrong output. Okay. So that 2 pi r instead of pi r square, that was not called error. That was called bug. That's why we debugged it and fixed it. But when you say error, that means while typing itself you missed something, it is showing error. You have to fix it this way. See the error list below. It will show you semicolon expected, line number 11, program name is program.cs, and so on and so forth. Just double click that line where it is showing the error. Automatically it will take you to that error line wherever that red color underline is there. Now take your mouse and check what is missing. It will also give you clear idea that semicolon is expected here. Then you put the semicolon, then that error will go from the error list. Can you see 0 error? That means this is process for fixing the error, and that is the process for fixing the bug. So both are two different things. One is error fixing, one is bug fixing. Remember, nobody can give guarantee that I will not do any mistake. Mistake are two types. One is called bug, one is called error. Even 10 years, 20 years, 15 years experienced people also cannot give guarantee that I will never do any mistake. But it's a good developer's practice how quickly you can debug it and fix the issue. So a successful developer is that developer who knows much idea about debugging and error fixing. So don't put more efforts not to do mistake. Rather, understand the general idea so that you will not do more mistake, but also parallelly understand how to fix if I did a mistake. So debugging and error fixing is the process to fix the mistakes, if any. Who knows, you didn't do the mistake. You are 15-20 members working in a single project. Some other guy did a mistake, that you are getting error. So if you don't know how to fix the issue, then it will be a difficult task to run the program. That's why parallelly it is our responsibility to understand programming as well as if any mistake is there, what is the steps of approaches to fix that issue, right? So being the introduction class, I think it's fair enough today. Let me take a quick attendance by taking some snapshot. And some people joined little later. If you by chance not shared your Gmail ID and WhatsApp number, please go to chat window and share it so that you will get the recorded video and you will get notes as well as this Visual Studio solution. Not only today it was a very small program, but in future also same Google Drive I will be going on putting all the class stuff, whether notes, whether Visual Studio solution, whether recording, even this notepad also I'll put it over there. Okay, so if by chance you have forgotten to share your Gmail ID and WhatsApp number, please share it so that you will get every day in the same Google Drive and you can download and go through it. I have done from my side. Guys, you have anything to ask from your side?